Hey, do you like listening to the show? Well, if you do, we'd appreciate you dropping a like, share, comment, subscribe, and if the platform you're listening to us on allows it, also rate the show. It all helps. And if you have any topic suggestions, feel free to leave them in our comments. Otherwise, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and enjoy.
Holy fuck, man! The pain we went through trying to record this episode for the last week and so, and now the technical difficulties we're having today.
Yeah,
my internet on my computer's not working. I'm trying to search stuff up. We have a lot of shit we got to do for this episode. So this, if you can see by the title, this week's episode is about glitches in the Matrix. And so what those are, for anyone that doesn't know, they're like little things that happen to people and they can't explain it and they feel like it's a glitch rather than like some other thing going on. So for an example, I heard this story about someone, they went to look for something in their like headphones and they couldn't find it anywhere. Checked their bed, they're everywhere that they had it, and right before they went to bed or right after they woke up, their headphones were sitting on top of their pillow right in front of them in their case and all, just chilling there. They said, how the fuck did that happen?
so I wonder, like, could that just be you're looking too hard for them? You know what I mean? Like
when if they've checked everywhere, like clean the whole house, clean the bedroom where they knew them, and then all of a sudden it's on your pillow next to your head in the morning. How do you explain?
There's someone in the house.
That could be.
No, but I get you. That's weird, man. That is
Like things popping up where you knew nothing, like you just checked for it and there was nothing there. Stuff popping up in like in your car. I saw another story. Someone in there was looking for a vape in their car, and like 3 of them popped up, and they're like, I don't know whose these vapes are. Like there was only one.
just
spawning. But the topics we're gonna get into today are more so about things that's like more crazy to explain that doesn't make any sense. These are all stories from Reddit, so we'll shout out the person that wrote it if they have their username up. But yeah, we're gonna go through all that today. That's basically what it is. But before we get there, do you have any sort of stories or anything like that that you would consider glitches in the Matrix? Trying to lock Zach's phone here and then.
No, I can't really think of any like off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Not really. Like anything that's happened to me directly, no.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either. I don't know exactly. I like getting into the real crazy ones where they spoilers ahead for what we're gonna talk about, but like when they died and they say some stuff like crazy stuff happened. It's like, oh shit, that's like what?
The only ones I can think of are just more deja vu. It's just more like I think would personally be associated with deja vu is like you just think of, you just like have a daydream or something and then it just happens one day. And it just I find that's the creepiest stuff. It's almost like you can see the future. It's like everyone kind of has that. But I think they've explained the difference as like it's just something you've experienced in the past, I think. For deja vu,
that's somewhat similar to what you're
exactly. But glitch in the
moment.
Matrix is like completely different. It's like something that you can't even explain. Like I'm just trying to think.
See, like Mandela effects? Would they be considered glitches?
It's like everybody thinks something's happened, but it hasn't.
It hasn't.
Kind of,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because a lot of the glitches, they feel like they lead to the discussion of like switching timelines and stuff. or they're like, I'm in a different reality than I was because something is different here than it was in mine. So Mandela effect could kind of be considered like glitches, where you're like, I remember this person died, but in this world, no, they're alive. They've been alive this whole time.
So I guess technically I kind of have one. I think it was just me being a fucking idiot when I was on base in Borden. When I was on my trades training, I had this Asian guy on my course, my buddy Matt, and I could have swore, because if you look at it, people from different areas in Asia look different, obviously, and he's like Chinese, so and the region he's from, they're like they're dark complected, and I could have swore, I swear to fuck, until one day I just realized it, he was like lighter skin tone for me in my mind. Yeah, it was super fucking weird, bro. It was super weird. I didn't understand it. Yeah, I swear to God, one day I just like woke up and saw him, and he was just darker. And it was like, and I asked him, "Yo, did you get a tan, bro?" And he's like, "What are you talking about, man?"
That's exactly what we're gonna do.
So,
Stories
like,
like that, where they're like, they're
Doesn't make
convinced. Yeah, they're convinced something happened. Like this other
I get
story.
that.
There was this couple, and they I think we might get into it. I'm not sure. But they talk about the TV, like she notices, or no, her husband or boyfriend or something notices that their TV's different on the wall or whatever. He's like, when did you get this new one? You used to have like a tube TV. And she's like, what? We've always had this TV. And he's convinced something's wrong with it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he's convinced, he knew for the longest time. He's like, and she's like, yeah, here's this conversation that we had about this TV like last week or whatever. And he's like, I don't remember this at all. So he could have literally like teleported into like a different reality version of him.
In a different timeline.
Yeah. And it usually, some of these stories, or most of these stories, it'll be like a near-death experience that they have, and they're convinced that they actually died during the experience, and then they woke up in like a what's it called, consciousness shifting or something, where you go from like where you were originally, you die, but your brain quantum leap jumping or something, quantum something, and you transfer over to someone else, your other reality version of you, to stay alive.
I don't know. I don't know personally.
Okay. I don't know. We'll get into it. You unlock your phone? Because I just didn't want it to start dying.
Well, it's going to die fast because it's
It's at 8%, people. Okay. This is someone's Saki McPuppet. This is from Reddit 9 years ago. This is their multiverse perspective of consciousness. So I don't know if we should read it all. This is a little long, but it's okay. They said they had an experience where they died and found themselves also surviving. So after years of reflection, this is their conclusion. So stated briefly, our consciousness is connected to a plethora of closely related narratives. Our consciousness, through our thoughts, plans, and decisions, reifies this multidimensionality into a single, mostly coherent narrative of our existence. However, the map is not the territory, nor our narrative is just a single perspective inside a space that provides many. So by comparison, a camera takes a three-dimensional reality and makes a small 2D copy as seen from a single perspective. Just because there is a single perspective in 2D does not imply that the full 3D room does not exist. Restated, we all exist as a full tree of narratives, not a leaf or like endpoint at the end of a single narrative. The idea that we, the tiny piece of ourselves at the furthest extent, is simply how our consciousness evolved to present the most useful view of reality, that most closely shared by our peers, and that most readily providing the inputs and outputs necessary to solve immediate biofunctions like food, pooping, sleeping, reproduction, and shelter. Very concretely, the job of our consciousness is to build a model or map of our shared reality that allows us to navigate it by making decisions and taking actions. Abstractly, we think about what we want, and through various thoughts and actions manifest our desires in our shared spaces to the best of our ability. It is possible to shift the perspective of our narrative through trauma or concerted effort to other perspectives. Your consciousness is already experiencing all those paths, presenting the same reification to that perspective. That is to the part you are experiencing. You are just as much those other perspectives as you are the one that you pay attention to. So we're all living all our many possible lives simultaneously and choosing which one to pay attention to. Implication is that subjectively, heaven and hell are both attainable. In fact, already attained, and that is our choice, what we experience through our actions, thoughts, and words. I don't know. I think hell's something you carry around with you, not somewhere you go, and they're doing the same things they always did. They're doing it to themselves. That's hell. It's a quote from Sandman, I think. And they hopped into quantum immortality is when we notice this, they say. The narrative we have been most closely following is suddenly pruned, but rather than our consciousness ceasing, we suddenly find our perspective shifted, and we no longer took that step in front of the bus, but instead stood there watching it pass with a vague feeling of queasiness that quickly passes and we soon forget. Glitches occur whenever our consciousness slides us to a nearby narrative, intentionally or traumatically or through lack of attention, and it's possible to notice small inconsistencies because our single perspective or history no longer aligns with all the inputs and outputs in our adjacent narrative. Because we are only looking at two similar maps of two similar territories, it's always possible to explain these by errors in the map as opposed to the territory being multi-potential. Perhaps the multiverse requires plausible deniability. There is multi-potential shared reality that is best or only described by the consensus of shared experience in all observing consciousnesses. This implies that causal domain shear is possible, or causal domain shear is possible, but reification must occur to align all perspectives when causal domains merge. It also implies the true territory is unknowable. All we ever can do is compare maps made from different perspectives and try to improve our model to better suit our needs. Jesus, that was a lot.
That person just likes using big words.
Oh, big time. That was crazy.
The entire first section can be removed, thrown in the trash, and summed up as people make decisions. That's that's it.
Yeah.
The second part has substance where it was like you know what I mean? It's like could be potentially a shared kind of space. I understand that, but that shit of being like nobody knows the territory, well, no shit, because it's always changing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, I don't know, just a lot of the statements were redundant the person kept making in that post, but I understand the point behind it. Like there's probably a shared reality
of us, like our different versions of us, like all these different decisions that we could have made, like that.
No, I don't think that's true.
That's what they're trying to point. Stupid. That's what they're trying to, I think, explain glitches.
Yeah,
where they think, in one reality you were, like they said, stepped in front of a bus, but now when you died, you switched over to where you were just watched the bus drive by and you felt sick to your stomach, but you couldn't figure out why, and then you just forget about it.
I mean, I get what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But I just think it can be all summed up with as soon as people say near-death experience. The ones you can't explain are when they don't have that. If you have a near-death experience, that automatically invalidates it, in my opinion, because like as soon as your body experiences that, DMT and things like that get released. There's a lot of hormones and chemicals that get released when your body thinks you're going to die. So that's what I think. I honestly think it is. Our brains are so advanced that we simulate these things in our heads happening, and we can see it like it actually happened. You know what I mean? When you see people with photographic memories or that can recall things, like have vivid imagery of their dreams, that's just them being more connected with it.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's just how I look at it. Oh, I got a bad leg cramp. Oh.
Zach, what are your thoughts? Shit, how did I get here?
He said that's my thought.
There was a lot.
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, I don't know why I chose to start with that one specifically, but
What do you think about the? Do you think it's a shared universe or what?
No.
No, what do you think it is?
I don't think there's anything like. I just think it's just.
But what causes the
The glitches.
feeling of glitches. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you don't agree with that, what do you think the cause is?
Just really weird coincidences.
Okay. Okay. I have a, because we don't want to be here all night, and there's a lot of stories I got to get to. So we can, if we're done right now, just talking about that. That was someone's explanation to come up with what glitches in the Matrix are. It's a lot of words.
I mean, how he explained it does kind of make sense.
I'm not saying it can't be wrong. I'm not saying like it could be.
Yeah, that was just
could be
what they think.
Could be like, I understand it. Like millions of us, literally in the same what's considered reality. Millions of us, technically, just going in different branches.
And this is the only one that we can pay attention to. That's what they say.
Just think about it. You can just think about it. There's a fucking reality. Zack gets up and just smashes Terrence's computer or something. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible when you say that.
That's almost
it's just the weird. That's the thing.
Well, they mentioned multiversal,
exactly.
But that's like multi-universe and stuff. Like there's a bunch of difference where it's so like infinitely big that everything you've done has happened again, and it's like kind of that thing or whatever.
It's just the only reason I say it's redundant is because they talk about the different branching, but then they talk about the realigning or reifying, they said. Yeah. But is that a word?
I don't know. I kept reading it.
I don't think that's. I don't know.
Reification or something.
I don't think that's a word. But anyway, like I understand what they're saying, like realigning the shit to where that's your path now. But it's like, then why would the rest matter at all?
True. Okay, well, let's get to this story.
Shit.
This is by Liquid Gold 83 on Reddit.
I'll give you some liquid gold.
That's was it? What's liquid gold? The
oil.
Bone marrow melted down. Liquid gold. I think that's what they refer to it as. Posted 3 years ago. This is their glitch in the Matrix. It says, "I died last night, but I'm still here." So this actually happened last week, and it just took me some time to come to terms with it. I got a phone call from my next door neighbor late in the evening asking if I can help him move a mattress into his upstairs. His mom is ill and has a big, heavy sleep number bed. I, of course, ran over to help because they're great neighbors. I get over there, and his friend, who is also a priest, was there to help. I helped them figure out how to separate the mattress from the bed so we could fit it upstairs. We get it all moved up and back in place when my neighbor asked if I can help them move an armoire upstairs too. I think nothing of it, and we pull it out of his travel trailer and start bringing it up the front stairs of his house. This is where I died. The front stairs are 11 steps. I was on the lower end of the armoire, about 6 steps up, when my neighbor and his friend lose a handle on the armoire, and it comes crashing down on me, and I fall backwards towards the pavement. I then wake up in my dining room to my phone ringing and my wife asking me if I'm going to answer the phone. It's my neighbor asking me if I can help him move a bed upstairs for his mom. I go over there and meet his priest friend again, as this has been the first time we actually met. I say I can help with the bed, but I cannot help with the armoire. My neighbor was like, how do you know about the armoire? I then proceeded to tell them I'm pretty sure I just died. I spent the next hour talking with the priest. He had so many questions. My neighbor didn't believe it until I described the upstairs bedroom in perfect detail, down to the metal mattress frame on the floor and the intricate headboard leaning against the wall. I had never been upstairs in their house before. The priest asked me what I saw after I died. I told him I never actually died. Before it happened, I woke up at my dining room table. TLDR, I experienced my death but woke up alive about 20 minutes earlier in my life.
That's crazy if that's true.
There's some stories like this on Reddit, and you can't take every Reddit story as truth, because you'd hope. I would love for all this to be true because it's crazy bananas. But
it's almost like a premonition, man.
Yeah, that's what they claim basically, and in that story is they claimed to have experienced it just like how we are right now, but something happened, and they literally like reverse time or even quantum immortality, where they jump to like a different version of themselves. And they seem how to know stuff that they shouldn't have known. Like, oh, they really need help with this armoire. This is what your upstairs looks like. So like,
Yeah, that's pretty.
that's the ones that I've compiled are like mostly like death related because they're super big glitches that seem to like not make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or they think they died but not actually died, you know. So, but that one, yeah, that was crazy. Huh?
I've had that
You
happen.
unlock that. Yeah. Is that
Woke
5
up
or something?
dead.
Woke up dead.
Went to bed
How the
alive. Woke
fuck?
up dead.
How the fuck you go to bed dead and wake up? What do you say? That shit would be
You
redundant.
can't go to bed dead.
Yeah, that shit would be redundant.
Yeah, that shit would be redundant.
Fuck, that's
It's the last time Kevin Hart was ever good.
You realize that movie came out 21 years ago?
Yeah, man, we're fucking old.
I'm not old. What are you talking about?
2003,
Fucking
that
old.
movie came
We're getting
out, bro.
old.
Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting old, bro.
I remember watching it in theaters.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Man, I remember seeing Rambo First Blood in theaters when it just came out.
Fuck, that air conditioner's cold on my back.
Holy, this guy. He's straight from the desert.
Shit.
We're recording in a fucking meat locker, just so everybody knows.
It's like bubbles.
This ain't daddy
think you
shed
need
no
to-
more.
I think you need to reply just in case you get text. This next story, I'll get to it. If Zach's phone doesn't die, I'm hoping. It says I didn't exist for an afternoon. From what I can recall, before we get right into the story, this teenager, I think it's a teenager, just kind of disappeared for an afternoon. They don't know what the fuck happened. They were hanging out in their house and nobody could find them. And they came when their mother, I think, came and talked to them. They're like, "Where have you been?" And they've been there the whole time. Okay, how the hell? What's the name of this one?
It's called I Didn't Exist for an Afternoon.
I know I tried to I know I quickly labeled I didn't exist for an afternoon, but it's not exactly popping up with those keywords. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Should have muted my my thing. Okay, I found the story. So that one was crazy, a little weird, right?
Yeah.
This one's a little less weirder, but still strange. So I didn't exist for an entire afternoon when I was 16. I stumbled across this subreddit today and I immediately thought of a story that my family and friends still talk about. So this is from Legitimate Pick 3, 4 years ago. This happened in 2009 when I was 16 years old. It was the first weekend of summer and nobody was home when I woke up at around 11. I grabbed a snack and went down to the basement to watch TV. I had plans to hang out with a friend at 3 p.m. that day. So like I said before, I started watching TV at around 11, knowing I had 4 hours before I was supposed to head over to my friend's house. I had only been watching TV for about 30 minutes when my mom came down the stairs asking me where I'd been all day. I said, "What are you talking about? I've been awake for less than an hour." I look at my watch and see that it's well past 5 in the afternoon. I run upstairs and check my phone to see that I have several missed calls from my mom, or my friend and my mom. My mom's side of the story is what makes me nauseous when I think about this, even to this day. She was with my little brother at his baseball game from 1 to 3 that day. She and my brother were home when I supposedly woke up and went down to the basement, but neither of them have any memory of even seeing me that morning. When my mom got home at around 3, she checked the entire house for me, including the basement where I had been sitting on the couch watching TV. It's been 10 years and I still have no idea what happened on that day. It is by far the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. And although I talk about it with my family like it's a funny little thing that happened, it genuinely chills me to my bones thinking about it.
Just like, so this lost a whole day.
Yeah, lost a whole afternoon, whole day. They feel like they were
Just watching TV for half an hour.
for 30 minutes, half an hour.
Gone all day.
And then mom comes down and is like, "Where you been?" I was like, "I'm just trying to get a hold of you all day." They're like, "What the fuck
What do
are
you
you
think
talking
about that, Tyler?
I think it's something weird, but can't really explain it. It's like, what the fuck? How does all the time just disappear? Only thing I can think is somebody like blacking out, but like why the fuck would they? That's all
Yeah.
I can think of.
Blacking out, I could see like you fall asleep, not notice, etc. Which possibly, but then how do you explain the mother side?
Yeah, I know,
She's
that's what I
lit-
mean. Like
yeah,
it's
where
that
she
one's hard to
searched the
explain, yeah.
house everywhere. You're in the basement. You're like, that's like the room where you watch TV and stuff.
And to you,
can't
you
find-
were there.
Yeah, and I was literally completely awake the whole time
Yeah.
watching TV. But yeah, like Tyler suggested, like blacking out or whatever kind of mental, you could literally be out and not realize you were out at all, and you thought you were awake the whole time.
Yeah.
So, I don't
But
know.
how does the person that's coming and looking through the whole house not see you sitting there on the couch sleeping?
Yeah, I think some people in the comments were like, maybe you were like nestled up, and they kind of like overlooked you.
Overlooked you?
Like,
I
just
mean,
didn't
it's all a
notice.
possibility. Like, these are all factors that we'd have to take in when we talk about like things like this. That
Yeah.
there is a chance that like you just had like, yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. So the next one, we'll get it quick because your phone's on 2%. It's dying quicker and quicker. It's dying quicker and quicker.
Turn down the brightness.
Right? That's what I was gonna, how do you navigate any of this phone? For any of those listening, and he has the superior phone, obviously. I'm stuck with the Apple, the less superior.
No power
Same.
saving mode turned on. Wasn't even on.
Oh my god.
What does it take to charge USB 3
Type
or
C.
C? I mean, I assume all what you call it?
iPhone uses them now too.
Yeah, my new one does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
wild.
the thing
I didn't
is,
even know that.
I can't plug it into like I could charge it right here on my keyboard, but I can't because it doesn't have the USB.
The USB-C plug-in.
Yeah, it has the USB-C on both sides.
Yeah.
Bugs me.
So we're
So
in the middle of a transfer era where we're
Yeah,
like,
that's
all
true,
the
we are.
technology is going to be like this
I
stuff's
know.
like USB plugins are going to be a thing of the past.
yeah.
Anyways,
Hopefully. Anyways, so that was fucked up, weird, but not as fucked up as the first one.
that one I find is a little like weird,
It's just-
man, just
yeah.
because like
Like, how do you what's going on?
he said like he remembers being awake and watching the TV.
Yeah.
Do you?
So this one is
Oh.
called "Where's My Kid." This is this is from For the Weird Stuff. 5 years ago. Also, Glitch in the Matrix subreddit on Reddit. If anyone wants to read these again, it says, "I have 4 kids. I know I have 4 kids, but recently I just feel like there should be another one, but it's missing.
Excuse me?
When we go out, I head count and get flustered because I can't find the extra one. I have
The fuck?
I have to consciously remind myself there are only 4, but my heart just doesn't believe it. Well, I just put it down as one of those weird feelings and I pushed it aside. Then my parents sent money to my kids. They sent $500. I called them and asked them why they put in so much. They were confused and said that they told me they were sending $100 per kid.
Oh my god.
I reminded them that I only have 4 kids. They were silent for a moment, then just kind of laughed and said they must be getting old because they were thinking there was 5. Then tonight, my daughter walked in the lounge room. She looked around and said, "I know we're all here, but our family feels small." My son agreed, and I hadn't said anything to anyone about my feelings lately because they already think I'm ancient and forgetful at 40. Thanks for reading if you've made it this far. Does anyone else ever have these feelings? That was a little strange. Having that gut feeling out of nowhere. That
And
you're
then to
like,
have
Maybe they're getting haunted.
someone else.
what I kind of thought? Some weird, not spiritual, but weird thing is like maybe she has this feeling because she's pregnant.
I mean,
Like,
maybe she's
like,
pregnant,
she,
or
she doesn't know, and she's just hormonally. She's like, there should be like one more here. Like, what's going on?
maybe you never know. I was gonna say she fucking had a miscarriage in the past or something, and then that's
maybe.
coming back. You never know.
True.
Whereas
That
the
is
old
true.
age, because
And
she said she
then-
was what in her 40s.
She's
Yeah.
Because maybe
40.
like
yeah.
weird weird things happen to a woman's body when there's menopause.
What? Have you read that one?
What is
Is
it?
that the one where it's on it's by the
lamp.
TV and he like
Yeah.
sat there
Yeah.
and stared at it forever?
Spoilers, yeah.
That one's
That's
deadly.
that.
That
I saved
one's
for the end.
scary.
I
That
saved
one's
that one for
creepy,
the
man.
end because we're just jumping ahead. We were looking at the topic list that I created for the different stories we'll talk about, but there's one at the end that is famous if you've
My phone.
like heard of it, like followed this stuff. We're just gonna try and fly through these, as quick as possible, but still,
There it goes.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, close. Yeah, that one's weird. It could have been what you're saying, Tyler, but also when their parents, or when her parents sent that. That was
That's what makes
That's
it
weird
weird
as
fuck.
because
Yeah,
why would they have the feeling? Oh, okay, we send $100 per kid, send 500.
and they kind of just chalk it up to, oh, we must be getting old. No, you had the same fucking feeling as me.
Yeah.
She's saying, like, this is strange. What was the next one? The next one's listed me and my daughter, and I can't remember what it was for. I have it say, oh, right, the titles are right here.
There, I was gonna say.
So me and my daughter
pull
witnessed
this up.
something surreal and unexplainable today.
Oh, it's this one. There you go.
Oh, you found it.
Yes.
Nice. Do you want to read it, or would you want me? 'Cause I
That don't
can.
matter to me.
And he's
This
like,
one's fucking long though.
Oh, I'll try and get.
Nice.
It's a story rather than the other one, because the other one that I had to. Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah. Okay.
summarize, man.
I'm just gonna read the whole thing because it's not that long. The other one, the thing that I read in the beginning, should have been summarized. That was bananas, but
Just kind of
My
like,
fault.
just like,
So this one is posted 5 years ago. It was Navan60. It says, me and my daughter witnessed something surreal and unexplainable today. It says, for a few weeks before this, while out driving, I've observed pedestrians standing at the traffic lights who will reach into their pocket and look at their phone as they're walking across the road when the light goes green. Nothing significant or strange about this, just one of those mundane things you notice while going about your day. Today, I was driving with my daughter and we stopped at a red light at a crossing, and there was a man standing there. Nothing out of the ordinary. Denim jacket, black cap, glasses, around 6'2", nothing strange. I thought I'd try to weird out my young daughter. She's 5, so I knew this was going to blow her mind. So I said, see that man? When that walking man goes green and he starts to walk across, he'll reach into his pocket and pull out his phone and start looking at it. Watch and see. As he walks across, he reaches into his pocket, but then immediately takes his hand out and looks and points right at me with his mouth open, smiling like, gotcha stance. Of course, my daughter found this absolutely hilarious, and I sat there completely mind blown. I must have sat there in silence looking at him walk across for the next 10 seconds. I drove on and had a look at him as I drove past, and he was smirking/laughing. I've been playing it through my head all day. The windows were up, the radio was on, I wasn't shouting, my voice was not even remotely raised. He must have been about 15 to 20 feet away from me. I can't figure out at all how he could have heard me. It's literally impossible. How did he know I was trying to predict he'd reach into his pocket for his phone? The only even remote possibility I can think of is that he has had the same observation as me and thought I might be thinking the exact same thing and so he just went for that. But realistically, what are even the chances of this?
It's probably a
Very
lot
small.
high. It's probably higher
Than we think.
than we
honestly.
think, because like people make observations every day without even realizing that
That's
they're
such
observing.
a weird observation to make, and for it to be so, it
For the
happens so
fact
often.
for the guy to know that she was looking at him is
Yeah.
what makes it weird for me. Like knowing that, yeah,
I
I
think
guess it is
she,
kind of weird.
I
is
think
weird.
she also explains in the comments. I think I read that she was just a quick second. She looked back to talk to her daughter, or just kind of like look back for a second, but she didn't notice this guy looking at her, that like to read her lips or anything. That's so scary to me. Just picturing that guy's just walking by and he's gonna pretend to do this that she, has observed everyone else doing, and he just looks at her like, "Ha, gotcha!" Like, you just sit there and start laughing. Like, that's so odd. Just as she was thinking, hey, look what he's about to do. And it's like some NPC type thing where they break the code. And they're like, ha, see, you thought I was going to fucking do this?
Tell
That's
my girlfriend all
weird.
the time, when you see pedestrians, they're just NPCs.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people in
And they
life,
just
man.
fade away once you drive away. They just turn back into
Yeah.
pixels.
That one was one of the weirder ones I've
Yeah.
seen. Like, that just doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, what are the chances that they've had the exact same observation of people doing this, and they just
Yeah.
had the
It just happened to be at the exact spot in time that she was going to be
And yeah, he's
there.
like, you know what? Maybe this person thought of the exact same thing as me and is thinking it now. So I'm gonna, fuck with her. That's weird, man. That's weird. I don't know. The next story, if Tyler wants to pull it up, it says, met a random girl who shares an exact memory and situation I have. Weird. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, while Tyler's pulling that up, UFC's on this weekend.
that's true. That's right.
Israel Adesanya.
And Dreykus, says he?
Hopefully Izzy gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, okay. You don't like Izzy? Did you ever like Izzy?
No.
I was okay, a fan of him, and then I don't know, his weirdness just started getting to me.
He really made me cringe when he called him like the N-word.
Oh yeah.
That was really cringe. He called Dreykus the N-word.
Oh, he called him that?
And he was like, "Say it back, bitch."
Like, why would he say?
Why would he say call him like just call him out because he's from South Africa
Like,
and being white?
Dumb as hell.
It's like, bro, you just made yourself sound more racist than anything.
I don't. Yeah, that's dumb. Okay.
Anyways, back to it.
This was GMT Tech 101, posted 5 years ago. It says, met a random girl who shares an exact memory and situation I have. To make this brief, my older brother died in 2000. Prior to this, he once was driving me in his Jeep when I was about 10 years old. In the Jeep, he had the Song 2 by Blur playing in his car, and he was dancing while driving, waving his arms, saying, was it woohoo? That how it goes? And I've kept this memory alive by having my license plate as woohoo. Today, I met a random stranger at a hockey game. The hockey game happened to play the same song, and this girl turned to me and said, my older brother played this one in his Jeep. I was completely confused and thought I heard wrong at first and said, say that again, I didn't quite hear you. She literally repeated it again. She then went on to explain her brother died in 2000. And I asked her what her license plate said, and she said it says Wahoo, or Woohoo. And she's from New Hampshire. What are the odds this would happen? Like, what?
That one is like a weird coincidence for sure.
I feel like that's like the most explainable so far, just because it's like, I don't know, I feel like that can happen. Like, it's very obviously extremely like 1 in a million, but crazier shit has happened.
You know what I mean?
It
could happen. The likelihood is like crazy.
Probably like 1 in a million.
That's
like Tyler said.
That is a pretty glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, no, that's for yeah.
I'll pull that one up. Mom died years ago. Got a phone call from her. The next story. But first, before we skip on to that one, yeah, that's very strange. What I find strange about the story is, that could happen. What are the chances? But it could happen. But a random stranger just turns to you and says, my brother used to play this and he died, or he used to play this one in his Jeep, like specified his Jeep car, like Jeep vehicle.
Truck?
Yeah. To this guy, out of a stranger she's never known, she just immediately tells, who has the exact same story. Like, that's so weird. Like, why would she just bust out and say that? My older brother died in 2000. Look at my license plate. It has the exact same thing yours does.
He listened to that song.
He listened to that song in the Jeep.
I keep thinking my mic's
Just
muted
out of
because of the color.
No. Just out of the blue, just says that to a random stranger. That's weird, man. That's weird.
It's definitely odd.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know. That's I don't mean to like fly past these topics because they are like, we just don't have much to say about them because they're weird and strange.
It's just there's not much that can be explained about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know. That's strange. So this one is Infinite Chemistry 88, posted 4 years ago. It says, mom died years ago, and dad got a phone call from her. My mom died 13 years ago. About 4 years ago, my dad was on vacation in Arizona with his girlfriend. He said he was up watching TV and the hotel phone rang. He answered it and said it was my mom's voice saying, I'm okay. He said, Cass, and he said the phone was crackly and said, tell Heather, which is me, I'm okay. He said his girlfriend was confused why the phone rang. He immediately called me even though it was late, and he was crying. My dad doesn't believe in the supernatural, but still to this day can't explain that call. Huh. It's not necessarily a glitch per se,
So that's
but it's
that
like
one's a little bit more
like
paranormal.
But that's weird. Like,
That's the type of shit that sticks with you for your entire life, man.
yeah,
Like that would be fucking scary.
yeah. That's weird. They especially in like a hotel. Like maybe if it was his cell phone, you can kind of maybe someone fucking with him
Mm-hmm.
or something. But like his hotel room where he's out on vacation and
Oh, we just read that one.
just
The Where's My Kid one?
yeah, pretty sure I slipped in the shower and died. It's the next one. Yeah, that one's weird, odd. It's a little ghosty.
Yeah, I
It's a
get
little weird.
paranormal vibes from that one. Cause
I mean,
I feel like I've heard of stories in the past of people getting like phone calls from like loved ones that have already passed away.
And they usually, because I've heard that it's the same as well. They'll be like, "I'm okay," and then just ends the call, and you're like, "What what?" You're left with what
You're
the
left
fuck?
like, did I hear their voice or did I just get a like wrong
Random
number?
call.
Or,
Like, is my head just saying that it sounded like them?
yeah, like am I just trying to believe that it was them?
Yeah. Like who else would just randomly call on and say I'm okay?
And have
think
it
that's
immediately switch something in your brain to think, holy fuck, is that like who I think it is?
Like yeah, maybe it's just quick. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
That's a weird one for sure.
So this next one is Concert Sufficient 966, posted 2 years ago. It says, I'm pretty sure I slipped in the shower and died. I know the story is going to sound weird and crazy, but hear me out. I'm not too familiar with the subreddit, but a friend of mine who's always talking about metaphysics, Twilight Zone, simulation stuff, loves this sub and keeps telling me to post this. In fact, no doubt he'll read this. Anyways, here's my story. 2 weeks ago, I was about to get ready for a party at 6. Just before I started getting ready, one of my friends messaged me, super excited because a boy she's had a crush on for the last 4 years finally asked her out. And he was coming, excuse me, he was coming with her to the party. While I was texting her back, my younger brother walked into my room and asked if I could drive him to his friend's house, which I agreed to do. Then I went to the bathroom to have a shower and do my makeup. So I got in the shower, but then I went to wash my hair. I realized that my my conditioner was finished. I was pretty ticked off because I'd only bought it a couple of days ago beforehand, and it's an expensive brand. My younger sister always ends up using my things, so I knew she used it all. She'd also trashed the bathroom, leaving water everywhere and her dirty towel on the floor. I was pissed off and was about to get out of the shower in order to tell her off and get some more conditioner. But as soon as I went to get out, I realized at the last second that she'd kicked the grippy mat we have at the bottom of our shower tub up. Our shower slash tub is super slippery without the grip mat. So as I went to step out, my foot slipped and I fell with my neck down onto the edge of my tub. Time seemed to slow down in my head, and I remember my last thought was, wow, this is how I die? How stupid. But here's the thing. At the moment of impact, I woke up in a start back in my bed. I know it sounds stupid and cheesy like something from a dumb Netflix show, but there's literally no other way to describe what happened. I was lying in bed right before I got up to shower the first time, but I don't remember falling asleep. And the thing is, I've been a lucid dreamer for the last 5 years or so, and if this was a dream, it was way more vivid than anything I've ever experienced. What weirded me out, though, was that the exact same friend who texted me the first time messaged me after I woke up to tell me that the boy she had a crush on had asked another girl out, and she was pretty bummed about it and didn't want to come to the party. I was weirded out that there was some similarity between that and the dream, but didn't think much of it at first. As I went to reply, my younger brother came in to ask if I would take him to his friend's house. All the blood drained from my face. He just stood in the doorway looking confused and asked me what was wrong. I rushed into the bathroom feeling like I was losing my fucking mind and went to check the conditioner bottle. I know this sounds completely crazy, but the bottle was finished just like before, and the grip mat was kicked up. At that point, I went to lie back down in bed and texted my friends to tell them that I wouldn't be going to the party. Sorry if my story's no good. I'm not much of a writer, but at least now you can stop telling me to post it here. Zane Lamau. So the slight difference in in that universe that she woke up in was her friend wasn't going with this crush. He asked someone else to go to the party, but everything else is the same. Her brother came in and was like, "Hey, can I go for this drive, or can you drive me?" And she knows her conditioner was empty, the mat.
But that brings it back to like what were we talking about? This one, I think, where it was like, if there is multiple versions of ourselves living all at once, and we just don't have the ability to pay attention to alternate ones. With the quantum immortality?
Yeah.
What if that's what happened? Like she's switched over real quick.
Possibly, and she left in her original universe. She's dead.
She's dead. Yeah.
she fell and fucking died on it when she hit her neck.
I think I don't know. I think that stuff is like very all linked, so it could all be the same as just the power of our brains, in my opinion. Just because if you look at stories on like that Reddit, like let's say quantum immortality, and then you look on like astral projection, stories are very similar. There are a lot of similar stories, like very, very similar stories if you check it out. I haven't really looked at that one with the glitch in the Matrix one, but I'm gonna say it's probably the same with that. I feel like it's honestly a lot of just our power of the brain, actually. I think there is a chance that it's connected to something else. There's definitely like, I believe in that. Like there's definitely a paranormal, like a spiritual side to life that we don't fully understand. Like we don't understand all the fucking powers of the universe. Like the same way we don't understand dark matter. Maybe that is, you know, what our consciousness, you know, our fucking dreams. There's so much shit you can get into with that. It gets crazy.
Well, I was gonna say, I know you've sort of experienced it, but do you believe in like premonitions?
Yeah.
Where you can
to an extent
you can like see something happening and it happens the exact same.
Yeah, 100%. I think some of it is like we do have a connection to like a spiritual side. Spiritual realm that isn't physical, like an ethereal realm. And also feel like it's our brains are such advanced objects that we don't understand like at all.
Yeah, I suppose.
The way it interacts with this kind of universe that we can't fully comprehend in our brains, like in our minds.
That would sort of explain like she's tapped into something when she's like, I've seen this all before, like my brother, the shower and everything, like I've seen this happening. So, yeah, it could.
So like with a lot of that stuff, I actually believe the people with severe mental illnesses have had those walls that we have broken down that are like still guarding our mental from things like eldritch horrors and stuff like that, like H.P. Lovecraft stuff, because that guy didn't just think of that from anywhere. There has to have been something that inspired that in his brain.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose. I think we tapped into that when we were talking of like the supernatural episode or ghost episode. Because I mean,
yeah, if you go back to you go back to biblical times, man, like Bible accurate angels are fucking terrifying. That shit is scary, bro. Our brain doesn't fully comprehend all the shit that like the ethereal.
We wouldn't be able to comprehend looking at one of them.
That's why like I've heard people say like if you did meet God and like looked at him, you'd fucking die instantly or something, like because you literally could not comprehend his full. You know what I mean? His full power, his full greatness. I do believe in that. I'm not saying there is a God. I'm just saying I think there is power.
If there was a higher power,
exactly.
We would not be able to be in this realm to see it and survive.
Exactly. In the immortal coil, as they say, in your mortal being, you cannot comprehend that. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. Okay, the second, I think was the second last one I want to get to. Is he thinks we died. So it says, yeah, glitch in the Matrix, he thinks we both died. Just Tyler, pull that up. So these are just some I spent one night reading a fuck ton of these because they're all just so interesting to me. And it's so weird. Um, but yeah, I read a lot of these. Some of them are just, some sort of similar where it's like, I lost my keys and they just fucking teleported basically.
The
or
ones that
showed
people
up.
dying,
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say.
that makes
Those are
those are
deadly.
big glitches, like you were
That's-
saying earlier.
yeah.
Like now that you read a couple, and I know what you mean. Yeah, no,
They seem to be like the most.
there's
like,
no
what the
explanation
fuck?
for that.
Yeah.
If
No,
they're
some
telling
of
the
them-
truth and that actually happened the way that
that's
they're
like I said.
saying, like, how do you explain that?
That's
Yeah,
the issue. Yeah, that's the issue with the anecdotal.
And like you were
evidence.
just saying, our brains just can't comprehend if that is like what it is. Like,
Like some of
if there
these-
is other versions of us.
Like some of these, I swear to God, you could just explain with they were asleep the whole time, and that's all it was.
maybe. Yeah,
Because I swear your brain is literally just that powerful.
yeah.
I mean, placebo effect has been proven to be, depending on the subject, depending on like the thing.
But to be able to have
applicable.
a dream become so accurate, like
when
you wake up, like for
That's
everything
the
that's
one
about to
part that's-
happen, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
with
the
the
one
one we
part that
just
throws
talked
me
about, where
off.
the brother comes in and asks for a drive.
Yeah.
She's seen that happen in her dream,
So there's like, yeah, but there's like a
but like.
There's a million variables.
How often does he ask for her to drive him?
what day of the week is it?
Did
Like, how
you
often
did
does he-
you already see that their conditioner was
Yeah.
gone like earlier?
And just
last
You know what I
night?
mean? Yeah,
Subconsciously
like-
knew it was empty, but
Yeah.
just didn't.
I do
know.
believe in that too. Like your brain, your subconscious,
Picks up stuff
can-
that you don't really
you don't
notice.
register
Yeah.
at all. Exactly, it is
Yeah.
subconscious.
It puts it in your like dreams.
All factors, boys. These
True.
are all factors. Let's
true.
talk about these things.
Just like the other story we talked about, where he just kind of describes his neighbors, all of his neighbors' stuff.
Yeah.
That one's a little weird too, though. Where it's like he knew that he needed help with something specific and etc.
See,
But-
the specificity is the weird part. Where
Yeah,
you knew
like,
that,
When it
of
gets
course,
really,
that's-
really specific.
Yeah, like
that's-
I've never met his priest friend, and
No,
then
exactly, that's-
I just
yeah.
meet him again. I mean, then again, it could be proved like that he was mentioned that he has a priest friend. And
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Or
He's never
seen
met. I was about to
him
say that he's
go
seen
in
him
there before,
Yeah,
and he's so
and just never like made
Registered
like,
it.
just like whatever. Just someone
Yeah.
going in my buddy's house, like whatever.
So this is the second last one. I wish I could search up more, obviously, but my computer's all fucked. So this was the curved writing desk. Maybe this was like fake. Maybe they wrote this up like a story. So this was posted 4 years ago, obviously in the Glitch in the Matrix. It says, he thinks we both died. I'd like to preface this by saying my husband is an electrical engineer and I'm a teacher. We're not crazy people. Okay, you didn't have to say it like that, but
You could be a teacher and be a psychopath.
yeah, an electrical engineer it doesn't mean you're not crazy. I don't know. So back when my husband and I were dating, my husband was in a terrible car crash. His truck hit black ice and he slid into oncoming traffic. His truck was completely totaled. So was the other truck he hit. The weird thing is, though, both he and the other guy were completely fine. Not a scratch on them. All my husband had was a bruise on his knee. The first responders were baffled as the towing company and insurance when they realized no one had died / wasn't severely injured. Fast forward to a few days after the crash, my husband comes over to my apartment. We're having a conversation about a university class we're both in, and he casually asks when I got the flat screen TV sitting on my dresser. So this is the one I mentioned earlier. At this point, I was very confused because I've had the little flat screen since I was 13, and I had it the entire year and a bit when we've been dating. I asked him what he was talking about, as I've always had that TV. He told me to quit pulling his leg and asked me what I did with the old tube TV. I had no idea what he was talking about and told him so. He's convinced I had a tube TV. I proceeded to get on Facebook and showed him a picture that we had taken 2 weeks prior with the TV in the background. It's a flat screen in the picture. My husband goes white like he's seen a ghost and just stares into space for a minute. His eyes started to water. I asked him what's wrong and he said, I swear to God, I'm not crazy. You've had a tube TV since we started dating. It was a tube TV when we took that picture. I brushed it off as his head being rattled from the accident and he didn't bring it up again. However, anytime we hung out in my room, he'd always look at the TV funny. Fast forward 7 years, my husband and I have been married for a few years and decide that we're ready to be parents. I'm not on birth control and we decide whatever happens, happens. We're not actively trying but not preventing it either. So we're on vacation in Italy, wandering around Rome, and I feel like shit. I had my period the week before, and it was the worst one I had in my whole life. As we were walking around, I'm suffering from back pain, chills, and horrific cramping. I go to the bathroom in a cafe and hurl my guts out. Have diarrhea and realize I'm menstruating heavily. Obviously, I'm weirded out since I had just had my period the week before. I clean myself up, go back to my husband, and tell him I think I need a doctor. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but this is insane. It's getting to the point I'm having trouble walking, and I'm starting to feel pain in my shoulders. I don't want to ruin our vacation, but I'm starting to really worry. My husband is smarter than me, sees the state I'm in, and says I'm visibly paler than when I went into the bathroom, and gets me help. 20 minutes later, I'm on a stretcher and being taken to the hospital. An hour after that, I'm being prepped for emergency surgery as a doctor tells me I have a ruptured ectopic pregnancy, and I have heavy internal bleeding, and if he doesn't perform surgery, I'm going to die. 6 hours later, I wake up very sore and tired. Doctor tells me I'm very lucky, and if I had waited any longer to seek medical attention, I'd be dead. Husband stays with me in the hospital the first night, then gets a hotel for the rest of my stay. A week later, we're cleared to fly home, and I go through a grueling month of healing from the surgery. 2 months after our return, somehow my husband and I get on the topic of fires, and he goes on about the dangers of kitchen fires, and I say, no need to worry. We're all set with the extinguisher in the closet. He looks at me like I have 3 heads and asks me, what are you talking about? I remind him about the extinguisher in the front closet where we keep the coats. We've had it there for 3 years. He insisted we buy one when we bought our house. My husband shakes his head and tells me he has no idea what I'm talking about, and we don't have a fire extinguisher. I remind him about not only my memories of fighting about if we really needed one, where to put it, and buying it from Home Depot, but also installing it to the wall in the closet. He looks at me with confusion and tells me none of that happened. I get up, go to the front closet to show it to him, all while cursing him for being an asshole for forgetting our 2-week fight about it. And lo and behold, no extinguisher. Not only is there no extinguisher, but there's no holes in the wall where I know we installed it. No fresh paint. This wall has never been touched. I insist he's moved it and fixed the wall and asks why the fuck he would play such a stupid prank. He continues to insist we've never had one, let alone talked about getting one. This goes on for several minutes. I'm approaching hysterics, telling him to quit playing with me when finally he says, now you know how I feel about that TV. We didn't speak about it for a long time. Then after I found this thread, he brought up his theory that perhaps in another timeline / dimension, whatever you want to call it, we both actually died and reset like a video game, and the TV and extinguisher are glitches. I don't know if I agree with him. All I know is that I have never been so rattled in my life, and every time I get something out of the closet, I'm overwhelmed with this feeling of wrongness. I know it should be there, but somehow it's just not. I can't explain it. He says he will go to his grave swearing I had a tube TV. Yeah. So, yeah, he thinks they both died and they both experienced different
But they didn't
timelines.
survive
They didn't, yeah.
He didn't survive his accident, and she didn't survive the ruptured pregnancy thing.
Yeah. That's weird. Imagine just having such a false memory. Like, you swear this TV's... What the fuck? This is so different.
Well, that brings us on to the
This is the final one.
next one. I'd like this one. I've heard about
Tyler,
this
have
one.
you heard this one?
I think I have.
Probably. It's probably the most famous glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
If you know of these topics and these similar things, you probably know about this one. So we're gonna get into it. Once Tyler finds it, don't
Oh
worry.
yeah,
No
I've
rush,
seen.
no
No,
rush.
I was just like looking at the title, looking at the start. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
I have seen this one.
It was going around for a while, like back, I don't know, years.
It was like just like a couple months ago when I heard about it.
I think this was 10 years ago, so it has been around a long time. But yeah, I only heard about it. Yeah, a couple months ago when it probably went around viral on like, TikTok and stuff and wherever. So this is a repost from Triumphant George. It says, a parallel life / awoken by a lamp. One of my favorite glitches is this one, posted by Tempto Tassoon or something. And I'll just kick it off. It said, my last semester at a certain college, I was assaulted by a football player for walking where he was trying to drive. Note, he was 325 pounds and I was 120. While unconscious on the ground, I lived a different life. I met a wonderful young lady. She made my heart skip and my face red, and I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married, and almost immediately she bore me a daughter. I had a great job, and my wife didn't have to work outside of the house. When my daughter was 2, my wife bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and dotted on him and my daughter. I don't know what that means. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on four legs, and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch, only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at that fucking lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me, but by this time, my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp's not real. The house isn't real. My wife and my kids, none of that is real. The last 10 years of my life are not fucking real. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective, and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises, and I became aware of pain. A fucking shit ton of pain. First words I said were, "I'm missing teeth," and opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out. I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up, dragged me / walked me across the sidewalk in grass, and threw me face down in the back of a cop car. I was still confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. Seems he didn't want to wait for the ambulance to arrive and give CT scans and shit. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression. I was grieving the loss of my wife and children, and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared that I was going insane, as I would cry myself to sleep, hoping I would see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I see my son. Usually just a glimpse out of my peripheral vision. He is perpetually 5 years old, and I can never hear what he says. Edit. This is 24 hours after post. Never thought anyone would read this. I changed the line so that it no longer seems that my 2-year-old daughter bore a child. That's they fixed that. I've never seen Inception or the Star Trek episodes so many have mentioned, but I will eventually. I will not do an AMA. I've had many personal messages describing similar experiences, and 3 posters stating such experiences are impossible. I'd say more research needs to be done on brain functions. Pre-med students, don't assume you know everything. Few have asked if they can write a book / screenplay / stage play / rage comic, etc., 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 etc. Please consider this tale open source and have fun with it. So, yeah, they are missing people that aren't real at the end of that.
So he was unconscious on the side of the road for like a couple minutes.
I think it was like either a couple minutes or a couple like seconds.
But to him, he lived for 10 years.
10 years.
What if that's happening to us right now?
That's what I'm saying. Like what? Like
What
imagine.
the fuck was that? Did you see that?
Yeah, it was like a fluff ball. I didn't think it was a spider. I don't think. Yeah. What if one day you just notice something's off,
and then you just wake up?
You just kind of like focus on it. And you just lose your stuff, and you found out you were like in an accident. Someone's trying to get you up with a light, like what happened to them. So they were knocked unconscious for a couple seconds, maybe a minute or so, and yeah, literally lived 10 years, having a wife,
Could you imagine?
children, them growing up, they're a couple years old, experience everything.
All those memories.
All those memories.
Nothing exists anymore.
Going to see them. and then you find out
None of it even happened.
none of that was real.
And you were only sleeping for a couple minutes, couple
Yeah,
seconds.
if that, yeah.
See, and that just gets it to the point, like, what if we're experiencing that right now? One day we'll have our lamp.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for him it was 10 years. What if ours is like
A lifetime.
80 years? You feel like it was 80 years, and then you wake up and you're like, what the fuck happened?
They fuck about, it's like, Christ, I've been asleep for like a couple hours. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like that one time, like maybe you fell and you actually fell and got really hurt, and you've been fucked up since, you know?
Like when I
this
fell
is-
off the top of that playground there?
Yeah.
What if I'd actually died there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Hey, man.
And this is all fake.
Yeah.
You guys
Or-
aren't real.
Or you were transferred.
Hey, honestly, you never know.
Or you were transferred when you did die or whatever.
I don't have anything that happens to me though to stop. You're giving me anxiety because like that would suck, man.
Yeah.
To live a life to that doesn't have
For
any
me
meaning.
as a father, specifically, like imagine
You wake up tomorrow and like your honey and your kids aren't in there, and like just everything in the past 10 years you did was just for nothing.
That's so sad. Like I almost want to start crying right now. Just picture my kids just not. They were never real.
Never there.
Right?
As real as they
Imagine.
like that.
Like you remember physically being able to feel them.
yes.
And like memories. Like oh god.
Like
That's
no wonder
scary.
they spiral into a depression, and
He's missing his family, man.
he's missing people that were real as real can be for him. Like what? That is a good point though he brought up at the end where he's like he doesn't necessarily think it's a glitch, but he says
Something happened with the
he
brain.
said don't expect that
Right,
you know
that's what-
everything from just
That's what I'm
assuming it's
saying.
not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like that I firmly believe some brain trauma can cause something like that. To look at you remember Ari Shafir? Do you know his story? He's a comedian, and he did what's that drug, salvia,
Yep.
on a podcast, and it was like, what did he say, like 10 minutes? He was in real life it was like 10 minutes or something, 10 minutes or something. But he said he lived a whole other life. Like he was living like under the sea or something for years.
Yeah.
Like he experienced a full fucking life for years. I don't know, like 20 something years.
And I
or
really,
whatever the
I
fuck.
really think that can happen if you hit your head. Honestly,
yeah.
bro.
And like,
In the wrong spot, literally.
I think so.
Your perception of time must be something with how we perceive time gets damaged.
Maybe that's what it is, and it's literally seconds obviously to you or minutes, but then it just sort of feels longer. Because you know dreams can be like they're shorter than they actually are.
Yeah.
Like they're like what, a couple seconds long.
You
each
dream like what was it, like 8 to 10 different dreams in one night?
or like no, not even in it's like they're only like a couple seconds long or something. Like even more than
But
that.
like sometimes you feel like you're dreaming the same dream all night.
yeah, you're like I
Like fuck, I dreamt the whole thing, the
like I
same
slept
thing
for 8
all
hours.
night.
Yeah, I slept for 8 hours and dreamed like 3 different dreams or whatever. Like they all felt the same. Like yeah, could really fuck with.
And like sometimes I feel like I'm in a dream for like a long time.
Yeah, right.
Like you know what I mean? Like
Sometimes it's
sometimes
different,
your
the length,
dreams
yeah.
like fuck, you feel like you've been there for like
Yeah, you just fall asleep and you wake up
like,
in the middle of the night at
a
like
day
4
or
and you're
so.
like, yeah, you had that whole dream.
Now that we're talking about that and like when we're starting to put our own dreams into perspective, I can see how that could happen because sometimes my dreams feel like they're really long,
yeah,
but they're only a couple seconds.
you're like, wow, what the fuck? I was just dreaming this.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Our brain is a very intelligent thing that we still have
It's
yet
crazy,
to discover
yeah.
things
Yeah,
about.
if it
It's
gets
actually unreal.
damaged, if it gets drugs, if we take certain drugs, can really affect that.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Well, you know, just
I mean, true. Hey.
take safe precautions. I shouldn't. I'm not a big drug advocate, really, but you know,
We'll have to get together one weekend, us three, and just take DMT
you're out of your fucking mind.
And just smoke crack.
Do you
and like hit the meth pipe.
do you
the meth
actually know
pipe.
how anxious of a person I am?
We're gonna be.
regardless?
Hey, we're
Yeah,
gonna be
but
mainlining
what
it.
if you did that and it showed you something, and when you came back, you were a different person.
You want to see me schizophrenic?
We're gonna
Yeah,
get-
but what if
I
you?
will.
Hey,
We're gonna
what
get
if
you
all those
different.
anxieties
We're gonna get it for him.
weren't there anymore?
That'd be awesome. What?
Next time you see TP, he's just gonna be like this.
Yeah, slapping up the veins.
Fucking grabbing the fucking.
Like if you want, we can go across the street and
He
get
grabs
some.
his belt, fucking.
Yeah, the belt.
Where's my belt? Yeah. Told you stop touching my belt.
Honey, you don't wear a belt.
Fuck,
I
man.
do now.
I do now. Yeah, you're not even wearing jeans. You're wearing shorts.
What the fuck you need a belt?
I still want a belt.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm touching any kind of.
No,
drugs.
no.
No way.
I don't even think I would trust to try DMT from someone around like New Brunswick because there's no way that that's real.
Who knows who they got it from?
Yeah, unless you.
I'd have to see someone scoop that out of someone's brain and give
I
it
was
to
about
me.
to say, literally, have to see it removed from the cranial
Well,
But
cavity.
you
there
can-
is crystallized versions of DMT.
Yeah, you can create it, right?
Well, I mean, I think there's.
But even then, that's not real DMT.
No, I was gonna say there's ones you can
Is-
get, but it's not the. I think it's like
it's not
not.
the natural stuff that floods our brains.
well, I
at
think
the
that's what
time.
everyone takes is not the natural.
Yeah,
stuff,
that's
right?
what I mean. Like the
Yeah, see,
natural.
because like they want it to be natural.
they're trying to simulate it, right? But
Hmm. Yeah, there's no way.
Let's just do something to make our brains flood with DMT.
Yeah. Die.
You don't have to die. You can come close.
No, you pretty much have to die, I think.
No, if you have
Or
a
really
near-death
close.
experience.
Well, okay, you have to get real fucking close.
Yeah.
I'm not risking that.
That's what all these could have been. For the people that were dying, could have
Yeah,
been
that's
their DMT trip.
Maybe.
Because
But
the
then it's-
DMT is
I
a whole
don't know.
other thing, man. Like people say that there's like beings and stuff when they
Mhm.
take that stuff.
They always describe.
Like there's so many similar experiences when people take that drug.
I think that just could be explained also by like
Chemistry.
Humans are pretty similar, so if maybe that the chemistry, they're basically probably going to see the same general stuff. Possibly.
But like, wouldn't that mean that like people that take mushrooms, like if I took mushrooms and you took mushrooms, we could have two completely different experiences.
That's true. I don't know if every DMT trip is always is similar to everyone
Yeah,
else.
it's not the exact same. I don't
No.
think.
But there's a lot of similarities.
Similarities, yeah.
So generally, I think everyone when they describe like a mushroom trip or
Has something they can relate to when
Yeah.
someone's explaining
everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I've experienced that too."
it.
I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
But yeah,
I get what you're saying there.
I don't know. So this was a trippy. This was like a long time in the
Making. We've
this
been trying to
episode.
film
It's
this
not that
episode
long,
for 2
but-
weeks.
This one's
Yeah,
cursed.
it's been too little.
It's like our
whatever.
glitch in the Matrix wasn't allowing us to
Oh, yeah,
record.
This
Yeah,
one's
man.
cursed. Watch
the
as soon as we're done.
13th day today.
Don't say
As soon as we're
13th
done,
episode.
yeah.
nothing.
Don't. Say.
No.
What was the other one that you said?
Not a thing.
So yeah, the 13 being a superstitious
Yes.
number. This is
You're
the
gonna-
13th episode.
Hey, you're gonna get done tonight, and then you're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna wake up in the morning, and then you're gonna text me and Zach, and then we're gonna be like, "What are you talking about? We weren't at your house last night."
You're going to
don't-
text us and be
don't-
like, and it's going to be like, bro, we doing pod tonight at 7?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Could you
I'm
imagine?
gonna look at my fucking
You-
recordings, and if
I wish I could
tomorrow,
access them.
I wish I could access them. Fuck you. I wake up and we're talking about something else.
You
We
look
did
at-
a whole different episode.
You look at your phone, and somehow it's Monday.
Bruh. Oh man.
You go
That'd
a
be
day
No,
back.
you hear what
That'd
he
be
said?
trick-
Imagine he goes to listen to our recording tomorrow and we didn't talk about any of this.
With something
No,
else.
that's what,
It's something
imagine.
completely
That's what I'm saying,
different.
man. Something like that.
If anybody has any glitches or
Yes.
anything they've experienced
Yeah.
that can't be explained by simple,
Similar story that you've heard, or personally you have a story, leave it in the comments.
Or send it to us through mail, postal box number.
you're a fucking idiot.
A lot of our audience knows us in person. They could tell us it if they want. Want us to share it. But yeah, it was just a weird topic. I recently got into listen to another podcast, and he always talks about glitches like this and like paranormal stuff, but he has a big thing about these glitches that fans send him. And so I got super curious of this topic and interested in it. I was like, we should do an episode, and that's what I've been trying to do for the last week, and we're finally recording it.
Maybe blasted it out.
And it was a little quicker than I kind of wanted, and I thought we could have went in more in depth with certain topics, but we didn't really have much to say. I mean, we just think it's weird.
Yeah,
And
like there's straight
that's
up
the
no
thing,
way we
right?
can explain. Like I can give a logical explanation.
Yeah, for some of
anything.
them, you're like, what the fuck? Like, how does that make any sense? But yeah, follow us on our socials. They're always linked in the description on YouTube or Spotify. I don't know about Apple Podcasts because I never really access it to like put anything up there.
Terrence's CPU is at 12% right now.
My 12% usage. That's it.
Yeah.
12.3. Yeah. Follow us on socials. Follow the show on Instagram. I'm working on making some other things and stuff. So, yeah.
Spoilers.
Post things.
Spoilers.
Have a comedy episode next week for you.
Yeah,
Have
we can
a-
do that. Talk about
Have a comedy episode where we only watch who's that really fucking bad comedian? Andrew Schulz.
Just
You don't
be
like
ready
Andrew?
to get offended.
Yeah. But that's all. Wait a minute. I almost forgot. Hold on. Okay. Yes, I forgot would you rather almost.
Almost,
I
close one.
didn't have my stuff out here. But before we get to that, we were just looking outside and you know how we're recording on the 13th episode, etc., etc. There was like a half blood moon outside right now.
Yeah, it's like red.
It was weird. It was tainted by the sky. You know, a little superstitious, a little weird. We see a black cat. What the fuck? That's all I'm gonna say.
I own a black cat.
So, yeah. So when you go home, you're fucked.
Well,
Same.
hey, speaking of the glitches, real quick, what would happen if you ever woke up and you had different animals?
Bro, that would freaking out. Could you imagine? You guys are real big pets guys. So, like, how would that experience?
If
for
I
you?
woke up and just looked at Zypher and was like,
Fuck, man.
"You're not Zypher,"
Right?
like, who are you?
Yeah.
I think I would have an anxiety attack and probably have to be admitted to a mental institution.
You're like, this is not the same
Yeah.
at all. Sorry, I'm chewing.
Alrighty, let us see. What do you got here for your Would You Rather, Tyler?
Would you rather have horror films play on loop every time you shut your eyes, or have the Macarena stuck in your head whenever you're awake?
Horror movies play when
I was gonna say the
closed.
same because I was gonna say that Macarena will literally drive me to blow my brains out.
Just here.
I think you know what?
Hey, Macarena! Just 24/7, bro. Could you imagine?
I basically watch horror movies on loop while I'm awake anyways,
Fair.
so it wouldn't be...
It probably already plays in your brain anyway.
Yeah.
While you're sleeping.
Hey, you wake up, you just can't remember
Just
it.
wake up and it's like have dreams of like being chased. I remember having dreams of being chased by like Jason and Freddy and them, man, and like getting caught.
I think it's a bad sign. I have dreams of the opposite. I'm the one that kills the people.
You're a fucking psychopath.
I'm the one that catches them and tears them
So
apart
Tyler
in
has
the
dreams
woods.
like that. Zach has dreams like that. They're both chasing each other each
Yeah.
side of your dreams.
You imagine?
I have
That's
pretty
what it is the
normal
whole time.
standard dreams. Like I'm boring, I guess.
Oh,
I have a lot
vivid
of like
dreams, bro.
dreams of being in like futuristic cities
Ooh.
for some reason.
The most vivid dream I've ever had was in BMQ. My Sergeant Evans, was a fucking asshole, but he's also a really nice guy. And I dreamt one night when I was in basic, I was on a beach running away from a giant crab version of him with knives in his hands, and he was gonna kill me.
See, you were thinking of some weird shit. You were probably watching
Same,
some
man.
like sea stuff before
I'm
bed,
saying.
or like.
Weird, man.
I know
Weird
you guys are
times.
ocean people too.
Weird fucking times, bro.
But for me, I would definitely, I'd probably do the horror movies on loop
Yeah,
while you sleep.
100%, man.
Because having you're sleep less than you are awake, and just having a constant song stuck in your head. Like the last few days, I had "Pass the Dutchie" stuck in my head. Like I had that shit stuck in my head, and it's bugging me.
So like
The Macarena is annoying from the beginning. That's all I'm saying.
having it stuck in your head, or is it
Cool.
playing
It's
on
playing.
loop in your
It's
head?
playing on loop.
Playing on loop. It's not just stuck in your head and you're singing an odd part here.
You know what I mean? You're not just
You're
like, "Hey,
hearing
Macarena."
it on.
You're listening
repeat.
to the
As soon as that
Macarena,
last
yeah.
thing's done, it instantly starts right up again. Now let's make this a little bit interesting, real quick. The same horror movie on loop, or the Macarena on.
Is that what it says?
No, it just
It
says
just says
horror. I think it just
movies.
says horror films,
Oh,
right?
movies?
Let's just say if it was one film.
Or did I read it wrong? I may have read it wrong.
No. Would you rather have horror movies play on loop every time you shut your eyes?
Depends on the movie, because some of them honestly get comfortable, bro. If it was to have like Freddy versus Jason on repeat,
If
yeah, I
it-
could go to
that's
sleep. I could go to
hilarious.
sleep.
Yeah, like if
hilarious.
Jeepers Creepers was playing.
I
I'm
even
going
find
to
that
sleep.
weird, man. I don't know. Fuck. Jeepers Creepers, fucking.
See, I grew up like that.
Was it one or two that has Justin Long in it?
First
number
one.
one?
First one?
That's the
Yeah,
bad.
man,
I
that
like
one's good. That's good.
The second one is really good, but like
I've only ever
you
seen
got to
the first one, or
separate
second one.
the art from the artist now that all that stuff came out about the director, like that he was like he got
Oh,
charged for,
yeah,
like,
I forgot about that.
sexual assault on a minor in
Yeah.
the 80s or 90s, and like
Well-
everybody just forgot about it.
Man, did you guys hear? Okay, off topic before we end, but did you hear about the fucking wildlife expert in like in the UK or Australia or whatever? Turns out he for like a couple decades he's been uploading videos of raping, torturing, and killing dogs to the internet.
Oh my god.
I think
Blank those words out, Terrence, in post.
Oh, that's good.
We'll get demonetized.
Was this guy like blonde? Did this guy have like brownish hair?
I think so, dude. He was like a world famous.
Yeah, I think I
zoologist.
seen like just like a picture or
Bro.
like a snippet of the article.
Literally, he's sentenced like 10 years in jail for like inhuman crimes. Like people are like he should have got life.
Mm-hmm.
Like the judge literally said, like there's no human comprehension of the things you've done. Like it's.
So it's the ones that claim that, claim otherwise.
They're
I'm a zoologist. I love animals.
But they're saying he did it to like hundreds of dogs over like years.
That's insane.
He would
bro.
literally
Right now, and
fucking
I feel sick to my stomach.
right. Yeah. Could
He
you
probably
imagine?
wore rubber boots and put their back legs in the rubber boots, man.
What are you
God,
talking
man.
about? What did this?
I don't know what he's stuck. He just
That's what they used
knows.
to do to that pig over there.
What
Eee.
the fuck? Who did? And what?
I
pig?
can't say names.
Okay, we're gonna end this quick so I can hear the names, bro. We're gonna end this quick.
All right. Thanks for tuning in
Thanks
for
for
Daddy
tuning in,
Shed this
folks.
weekend or
Sorry,
this
you
week.
can't hear this.
We dropped a
story,
little
but-
too much knowledge at the end here.
Yeah, this
Cut
is a
this
real
part.
weird episode. Like I said, leave in the comments. Do whatever.
We're talking about weird stuff at the beginning, but we ended it with some like obesity.
Some really fucking weird stuff,
Leave it
yeah.
to Zach to talk about bestiality.
No, that was me.
Anyway,
That was me. That was
Just,
my fault.
just remember
Ciao.
the rubber boots.